And it's from me? Should I unplug and plug back in?
I don't know if it's from you or from me. But we've already started.
I don't hear anything.
Yeah, well, we've already started, so.
We start? Why do you do that to me?
Start the show?
Yeah, without my knowledge.
We're late, Steve.
We're always late.
It's fucking 9:43. It's time to go. Time to go.
It's only 8:43. It's only 8:43 in Chicago.
It's only 8:43?
In Chicago.
In Chicago?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna start, Steve.
All right.
If that's okay with you, Steve.
I'm ready. I was actually ready early today.
You did. You came in. You were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I can't give you any shit at all.
You're still gonna.
Well, yeah, but that's beside the point. All right. This is episode 10 of the Fortean Slip. This is the Bigfoot versus the state of California episode. Tonight, following our wonderful news segment, brought to you by Fake News Steve.
I'm not fake
Steve,
news.
For all your fake news needs, we will be interviewing Claudia Ackley. Ackley? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'll ask her when she comes on. About her impending lawsuit with the state of California. We'll find out all about this interesting thing.
Ackley, I think. It's French.
Ackley?
I don't know. I made it up.
Is it like Target?
Yeah, something like that.
So to get right into it, Steve, do you have any news?
Yeah, I don't hear a news introduction, though.
Yeah, well, our producer's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Whatever.
Da 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 da.
That was the best news introduction ever. That was great. This is from the Daily Star. It's a UK thingy. The world braces for the ultimate website.
Oh.
You know, it has the .co.uk, .co.uk.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't know why they can't just do .uk. I mean, that would be easier.
Sure.
Darn UK people. World braces for ultimate super blue blood moon. Didn't we just have a blood moon?
We had a super moon. I don't think we had the super blood moon. And doesn't this one coincide with like a fucking eclipse at the same time?
Yes, actually.
Ah.
This is a super blue blood moon, so it's like all three things.
So this like just makes the werewolf come out in everybody.
Yeah, I think so.
But only in the UK. See, I only believe in werewolves if they're in the United Kingdom.
I think so, because
Steve, we all remember the wonderful documentary, An American Werewolf in London.
It was good.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
And the Warren Zevon song.
I have no clue.
Werewolves of London?
I'm going to start. No, I don't believe I've heard that. Is it like new?
No.
Okay.
No, Steve Warren Zevon's dead.
Oh, well, that's regret. I regret to hear that. That's bad.
Tell me all about this super blood moon, Steve.
A rare space phenomenon that will see a super blue blood moon, and a total. You got me all flustered, Chris. A total lunar eclipse occur at the same time will happen this month. According to NASA, the incredible celestial event that has not been seen in more than 150 years will take place on Wednesday, January 31st. The space agency said the so-called super blue blood moon happens when the moon comes as close as it can while it orbits the Earth. I wonder if it's going to crash.
It doesn't tell me how to avoid becoming a hairy beast, though, Steve.
No. NASA added that the moon appears up to 33% larger and is much brighter than normal during the incredible episode. That's pretty cool. They even got pictures. I don't know how they got pictures if it happened 150 years ago, but there's pictures on the website. It's the latest in a string of supermoon events, with the first having taken place on December 3rd and another on January 1st. But in certain regions, the blood moon will occur at the same time as the lunar eclipse. The rare eclipse happens when the Earth appears to align, and we know what an eclipse is. They don't have to tell us.
Some people may not know, Steve. There are
Well,
people,
then let me read
Steve, there are people that think that the Earth is flat.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. So some people may need to know how an eclipse
Okay.
works.
the rare eclipse for you flat earthers out there happens when the Earth appears to align in front of the sun, making it seem as if the moon has been blacked out. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see it because it's only going to be seen in the eclipse part, I believe, in Europe and Africa. So that sucks. But we got some dramatic. This is from The Sun, which is another European thingy, another UK thingy, I should say.
A UK thingy.
This is from The Sun. Dramatic new footage shows Bigfoot prowling through a Canadian forest, a family has claimed. The grainy clip, of course, they're all grainy, to capture the mythical beast, also called Sasquatch, lurking between trees just yards from the shocked onlookers.
Ooh.
Yeah. The family who filmed the footage had been out for a walk in the wilderness when they caught sight of what they believe was the mysterious Bigfoot. The clip filmed on January 5th was titled, "Remarkable Footage Shows a Huge Bigfoot Walking Through the Canadian Wilderness." That's a really catchy title.
Of course it is. Come on, Steve.
The video was captured on January 5th and uploaded to the YouTube channel Modern Galaxy.
I want to upload a video called Bigfoot Swings Its Hairy Dick in Front of My Face.
Why would you want that?
I don't know. I just figure it would get some hits.
I'm sure it would. It would probably get you thrown off YouTube.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, kind of our thing. You don't want that to happen.
Oh.
Anyway, the video was captured on January 5th. And
Steve, when have I let you down?
Weekly.
She was the itemized list.
Yeah. When have I let you down, Chris? Every time I open my mouth.
Every time I message you.
Yeah. The video was captured on January 5th and uploaded to the YouTube channel Modern Galaxy, which is not a scam site, not a hoax site at all, sparking wild speculations among viewers. One viewer wrote, "You would be ignorant to say that this isn't a Bigfoot. We discover new species all the time. I need to see one to believe myself, but you can't say no, there isn't one." Another viewer added.
Use your words, big boy.
That looks extremely dangerous and possibly aggressive. I would have a heart attack if one of them things was looking in my window. It comes after a mysterious video appeared to show a Bigfoot-type creature swinging through trees near a hiking trail in California. I didn't see that one at all. And a similar footage captured a large man-like creature peeking at tourists from behind a tree. Then in October 2017...
And then they found out it was a man peeking at them from behind a tree and playing with himself.
Creepy. Very creepy man.
Ooh.
There was a farmer who claimed he had seen a whole family of big feet. Big feet? Bigfoots.
Sure.
Bigfootses.
Let's go feet.
Carrying a pig while running. We'll ask our guest when she comes on what her opinion of that is. Carrying a pig while running through his California ranch. So lots of Bigfoot or feet activity
going on in the world.
And our last story. This is from the popular Paranormal Herald World News magazine.wordpress.com.
Wow.
A U.S. publisher halts publication on Rendlesham UFO incident left at Eastgate. It gets left behind by its publishers and the world UFO community. This is poorly written, by the way. In late December 1980, we all know the story of the Rendlesham UFO thing that happened.
We do all know the story?
Yes, I'm not going to explain it. If you don't know what the Rendlesham UFO story is...
Steve, how many times do I have to tell you?
All right.
People are stupid.
There were unexplained night lights near Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk, England. The events occurred just outside of an Air Force base in Woodbridge, or the Royal Air Force Base Woodbridge, which was used by the United States Air Force and witnessed by USAF personnel, including, this guy's got a long title, by the way, so don't you stay with me.
Don't hold it against you.
Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt. That just took everything out of me.
Oh.
I'm just trying to get to the story of why this is important.
The meat and potatoes, Steve.
Yes, and I can't find it. Skeptics have explained the events as a misrepresentation of a series of nocturnal lights, a fireball, the lighthouse, and some bright stars. The people whom had witnessed it, to them it has become much more. The Rendlesham, I don't like this story, Richard. The Rendlesham Forest incident has been, we talked about this thing so many times, has been called the Roswell of England, but was it really? It does seem, with one man's book being slowed to a halt and publishers refusing to publish, some trouble in the alien world has definitely caught other people's attention. Some of you have been following the repeated posts and of this continued saga of whom did what, but do you all know what it was about truly? Well, neither had we until we interviewed and did some fact checking and got some details. It is not the
you read horribly.
Well, because Richard gave me a crappy story to read. That's why.
How dare you, Steve?
I don't think it has. I don't think it has anything to do with the story.
This is written by the god Evan Jensen. I will not tolerate you shitting on it.
This was written. You gave me a story written by who?
The Evan Jensen. How dare you?
No wonder it's so bad. Mr. Jensen says it's not the actual incident. Why would you do that, Richard? It's not the actual incident that has been subjected to scrutiny, but it's the author. It's the author that they're having issues with.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to read any more of this. So there.
Yeah,
I'm
good
done.
call, Steve.
I'm done because it's Evan fucking Jensen.
But Steve, before we wrap the news up tonight.
Oh, I'm supposed to end the news.
No. See, I had to cut in, Steve, because we have to give a shout out because unfortunately, Dean Cooper has lived yet another year.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
It is his birthday.
Dean Cooper.
I don't know how old he is.
Old.
But, I messaged him earlier today and wished him a happy birthday.
I did not.
Happy birthday, Dean. I guess his wife took him out to dinner or some shit.
Sad.
So he said he wouldn't be able to make the live show. And
what?
Dean,
No,
I expected more commitment out of you when you listen to this because I know you will.
Yeah, fuck him, Chris. I mean, if he's not here,
Yeah.
I think I just figured out a viewer that you should be blocking.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the one.
Spending time with his wife instead of on the show. Come on now. Who would do that?
Yeah, well,
Present company excluded, of course.
Yeah, the one who tells us he's fucking going to pottery class or some shit.
Crocheting class.
Oh yeah, crocheting class. That's right.
Oh wait, I'm supposed to cue, so that is the news. That's close enough. Oh boy, this is starting off really good.
Yeah, we suck, Steve. There's no getting around it. And we're horrible.
Well, I just don't know.
So I'm waiting for our guest to unmute.
She didn't get the cue. That's all.
All right, boys, I got the cue, and you don't suck. I love your show. Even though you don't like me, I love your show.
Whoa. Nobody said they didn't like you. Man.
Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us for the first time ever, Claudia. How do you pronounce your last name, dear?
It's not that hard, honey. It's Ackley.
Ackley.
Claudia Ackley.
Hey, I don't know. Like,
I was
I'm
wrong.
feisty tonight. You better be careful, boys.
I don't know. So
I'm just
I
teasing.
had to ask.
No, it's Claudia Ackley. And thank you so much for like allowing me to like. You guys have questions and concerns, and thank you for allowing me to like come on your show. I'm truly grateful for that.
Well,
And all of your
absolutely.
listeners, thank you for taking your time.
Now, to give a little backstory, Steve and I started doing this show. God, it was 5 years ago.
I think we were still in diapers.
It was almost we're in our 5th year. We're in our 5th year, Steve. We've done 4. We're in our 5th. But we started the show on the premise that I think actually we were in the low 90s when we started, weren't we, Steve?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in the 90-something% of all of this is bullshit. And I'm not talking about just Bigfoot. I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about all the Fortean subjects, UFOs, aliens, paranormal shit, psychic shit, whatever you want to call it. And we were of the school that 90-something% of all of it is just bullshit. But there's that glimmer of hope in both Steve and I that the tiny percentage, there's something there. Now, over the course of doing this show for 4+ years, Steve and I are pretty much now at 99.9% sure that 99.9% of it's bullshit. No, we're 100% sure it's 99.9% bullshit. So we have about a 0.1% tolerance for anything. Now, we used to have a co-host on this show. I was hoping he could join us tonight, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it. And
he's fighting that cholera outbreak in Egypt.
Yes, he's on assignment. But it's funny that you say fighting. And I completely trust Matt Knapp in pretty much almost anything that he says. And Matt has a Bigfoot encounter. And it's not that I don't buy it. I believe it's his experience. And I wasn't there. And when it comes to footage or evidence, I mean, I think I speak for Steve on this one when I say I don't think there's anything that's ever been presented, with the exception of a couple of films which are still questionable, that present anything at all. So that's where we stand. And the very first show that we did was about the Hovey v. polling lawsuit, which was completely different from yours.
Completely.
However, it's funny that we started this show with that, and this is going to be the end of it, Steve, right here.
To be honest, I never thought that we'd ever have another court. This isn't a lawsuit, is it, Claudia? It's not technically a lawsuit.
Not technically a lawsuit, no. I'm not suing for myself. I'm not suing for people sue for emotional damages and oh my gosh, I've been traumatized. Nothing for myself. This is all for public health and to protect the species.
All right. So what this is a traditional writ of mandate, which is basically a government agency hasn't done something and you're wanting them to do it. Okay. So it's not duty. Right. It's not quite the same thing, but I never thought we'd be talking about another court case with Bigfoot involved in it. So at least I think that's kind of what piques our interest here.
Well, I respect everybody's decision, everybody's experiences. You guys are 99% think that people bullshit about this, the whole Bigfoot community. I get that. I'm not naive like people think, but when you have a personal experience happen and you have your precious cargo with you, like your children, and then nothing is done about it, like a serious like encounter. Nothing like horrific happened to my daughters and I, but the way I was treated when I called the Forest Service isn't acceptable in my opinion. So I want to like just talk a little bit about my background. I'm not going to go on forever. I know you guys want to talk about like Todd and like how all this came about, but do you want me to, or I want the listeners to, some people don't know who I am. I want them to know like why I'm doing this. There's a reason why,
I have to say, Claudia, I'm familiar with you and I've seen you around, but I really don't know much about you myself. So.
Okay. Well, I'm a single mom. I have 2 kids, 2 girls, 11 and 15, and we live in the woods. We just moved up here. So March 27th of last year, I decided to take them hiking, and I want them to do healthy things for their lives. I want to be like the best role model I can be as a mom. People can understand that. So I am into the Sasquatch because I've had 2 encounters, and both of them were videotaped. Both of the creatures were on trees, and there was witnesses on both accounts. Now, I took my daughter. I had my first sighting in 9/11, 2014 with Barb Shoop, and it's very like it says like she said it was a cloaked Bigfoot, and I was personally there and I saw the creature. We were we were looking eye to eye. He was 75 feet from me, and he was hanging off a tree, and she had an iPod and she videotaped it. I looked at the creature. It was not cloaked. I saw its body. It's like its eyes like flesh and blood. But in the camera, it looked translucent. We don't know. You gave your explanation, Steve, of why, like on your video, correct? Like
it's been a long time.
Yeah, I don't think it was cloaked.
It's been a long time, and I honestly cannot remember what I said about it. I didn't buy the fact that it was cloaked. I'm sure because that's my skeptic side.
Right. So
but I don't remember what I said.
I don't want to like talk and like it's boring. I don't want to like repeat everything. No. But like what that day like changed my life because I had an experience in 1997 where I can't say it was a Bigfoot, but I was young and in Yosemite and I heard a growl and I saw something in the woods that like made me wonder for years, like, what is this thing? Like, was it a bear walking on 2 legs? I don't know, but it happened so fast. I'm not going to claim that I saw Bigfoot that day, even though it questioned me for years. I wasn't very confident as a person back then. I cared a lot what people think. Now I don't. I've changed a lot. And when I went to Barb, I didn't know if they existed or not. I was like, do they exist? Do they not exist? I told Barb, like, don't show me any footprints. Like, I want to find things on my own without you like guiding me to like where things are. Because I want this to be a real experience for myself. Sure enough, I have an encounter. I got to experience all the Sasquatch things that people experience, like rocks being thrown, the screams at night. It was really like an amazing week for me. So for me in 9/11, that was answer for me. They do exist. So I was like fascinated with it. So I started like meeting a lot of people, researchers. It truly changed my life to the point where I lost like 120 pounds. I was in an unhealthy marriage. I filed for divorce. I was like going to start a new life. And I did. I have. And I want to dedicate my life to my daughters, So we moved up to the mountains here. And last year, I decided to take them on a walk, like on a hike. And it was like 6:15 p.m. And we, sure enough, like I was telling them about bears, mountain lions. Now, I didn't say to them, hey, girls, like, if we see a Sasquatch, like, I need you to do this. Like, I didn't even think of a Sasquatch. It was just a fun, like, hike. I still had my nursing shoes on. Wasn't expecting to go for a long walk. It was getting dark. And we encountered a Sasquatch. When this was happening, my daughter behind me filmed it on her iPhone. And I feel that she's brave. Like, you guys have never had, maybe, I don't know your history, but if you ever had a face-to-face encounter with them, your brain is so like traumatized, you can't even believe what you're looking at. Even if you've seen it once or twice, like you're like, oh my God. And it's really intimidating because it's like going in front of an African elephant and like standing in front of it. And you're like, you feel very vulnerable, What happened was she videotaped it and we ended up like, my story is on my Facebook. If you guys want to check it out, like I explained everything there. Duke just like interviewed me. I explained everything, what happened. To make the long story short, I did the responsible thing. I felt I'm an American citizen. I have, I like people doing their jobs. I pay my taxes. So when I called the Forest Service, she basically came, she saw the video. She said she saw like the head right away. She's like, is that it? So I knew she sees something, right? I'm like, yeah, that's it. So she looked at it, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest and frank. It's not like the perfect photo video at all. Like it's blurry. It's like a blob squatch. I'm going to say, but it's better than nothing. So Will Jeving sent his team out, and like they found a 22 inch print by the tree with 5 toes, like mid-tarsal break, heel, and that day changed my life again. So when I made a call to the Forest Service, she basically laughed at me. And that's okay. Like, go ahead and laugh at me. But I know the truth, and my daughters know the truth. And it's not okay that you tell people, hey, you saw a bear. No, it wasn't a bear. You know, it's like, no. Like, I was back and forth with her. No, it was not a bear. You can't go and, like, you have to help people with these encounters. There's thousands of people that have encounters. Like, and people are traumatized by it. You know, it's all fun and games for some people, but for some people, it's not. So I decided this is how I met Todd, because I know you guys were talking about Todd, and I know how you feel about him, and I'm not going to bash him. But like, I was sitting here one night listening to Wes, like Sasquatch Chronicles, and I heard Todd standing. Now, I've known Todd for a couple years, not like good friends or anything, just I knew about him. I had no idea that he was filing a claim in Canada, a lawsuit in Canada. And when I heard his story, like that compelled me to say, you know what? I'm going to do that here. Like, someone needs to stand up now to the plate and say, like, hey, you know what? These are real. Like, because I've seen them. I'm going to say they are real. And I decided to call him, and he said, like, I said, I need help. Like, how do you start this? Like, how did you find your attorney? I had a lot of questions for him, and he offered to come and fly out here for a week and stay with me. And I wanted to show him my area. I wanted to show him where I saw the creature. My daughter saw 3 that day, by the way. There was 2 of them that ran in front of her. And when she was interviewed, I wanted to say something really quick. She's a child, so I left the room when she was being interviewed. They want to know if she's lying or not, and that's okay. Like, I told Jenna, like, just do whatever, just tell the truth. That's all be yourself. So when she was explaining how the ones were running, like, past her, when she turned her neck, like, she turned around to describe what they were looking at, like, they were looking at her. And when she turned around to describe it, she turned her upper body with her head. Like, they don't turn their necks, you know, like you and I. So she was like mimicking how he was like running in front of her. And they knew at that point that she was telling the truth. Now I've offered to take a lie detector test, a drug test, whatever anybody wants, I will take it. I'm very compassionate. I'm very passionate because I believe in doing the right thing. I'm not here to like change the world and like life's going to be great after this. No, like I know that it's going to be really hard. You said, Steve, I'm going to lose this case horribly. I hope I don't. But if I do, maybe in 50 years or 100 years, maybe somebody one day is going to have a death in front of 50 people, and there's going to be something done at that point. But I want to just say, like, I'm doing the best I can, and I don't see anybody else trying this, like, avenue to tell the government, hey, you know what? Protect the species, help those victims that are out there. Enough's enough. I'm tired of the bullshit lies. It's enough. It's disgusting, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's not okay. We pay our taxes, you know?
I did say that you were going to lose the case horribly. I did say that. What do you believe your odds are? When Todd mentioned it, he said 100% you're going to win. Obvious. Every time I say Todd, Rich is going to
Richard. Okay.
When
I'm
Todd
be
said it,
realistic.
he guarantees 100%, and obviously you can't guarantee that. And I mean,
he guarantees fucking everything 100%. That's 100%. That's 100%. I watched the fucking documentary. That's 100% chance you just saw a Bigfoot, man. Hey, that's 100% chance you just saw a Bigfoot, dude. Hey, that's 100%. I'd wager to say that's 100% you just saw a fucking Bigfoot. I think that's just what he fucking says.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, I mean, I'm realistic. Like, I mean, I'm not saying he's not realistic, but my opinion is really the chances of me winning are like, I'm trying to be really positive and say I'm going to win it. And I want to win it. Like, I'm going to do everything I can to fight. I'm not like a quitter. I'm not afraid. I want to go and confront them and say, look, like, I have like people that are going to testify on my behalf. Bob, he filmed, like, you know, Patty here in California. I have witnesses that have had experiences here.
Whoa. Did you just say Bob Gimlin's going to testify for you?
Yes. He's going to come
to court for that one.
Nothing.
And I want you to know, like, I'm not like accepting any money from anybody, like, so you know, like, it's not.
No. That's not what he said.
No, that's not what he was saying.
Oh,
he was making a Russell Accord joke.
Well, anyway. So
I just my biggest question about all of this, Claudia, is
Yeah.
Like, in all seriousness, what do you really expect the Forest Service to do? Because if like, let's say I went out in the woods with my son and my daughter tomorrow, and I run into a fucking bear or a moose for that matter. I mean, I'm putting myself in the fucking woods. There are dangerous creatures in the woods, whether one's fucking recognized or not recognized. It really doesn't matter.
Right. But you are taking.
But my question is, what do you really expect the Forest Service to do?
Well, first of all, I want them to change their policies and investigate sightings when people have sightings. I don't want like them to kill them, of course, like or put them in zoos. No, I don't want that. But hey, like you and I have a choice. We know there's bears and mooses out in the woods. So why can't they say there's also Sasquatch and there's clans? And if someone gets, you can have a little bit of a chance of protecting yourself with like a bear, right? There's like bear spray. There's like things you could do to like prevent it to like run away from you. Moose, you can try to get away from it. I'm sure if they want you, they're going to get you no matter what, just like the Sasquatch. But at least people are like, at least the truth is being told to them saying, hey, you know what? There are Sasquatch out here. If the clan wants you, there's nothing you could do. I believe in my heart, like looking at that creature, not even a bullet would have stopped that creature. And not that I would want that, but if it came towards us, I would have jumped in front of it and said, like, girls run, you know?
Well, if you ask,
I don't,
if you ask
why
Justin
hide the truth?
Smeha, fucking Bigfoot did get stopped by a bullet.
A couple of them.
No comment there.
Yeah, well, we won't comment on that.
Is he still in jail? Is he still in jail?
I don't know. Did he go to jail? I mean, or is he just? I don't know.
Probably just arrested.
I know he was arrested, but anyway.
I don't know.
You're part of your claim. I've read the papers, by the way. Part of your claims is that this could be harmful to people, which you were just saying, but there's very few, if any, cases, if we're to believe in Bigfoot at all, that there was any harm done to humans at all.
How do you know that?
Well, because in even the witness reports, there's nothing. There's never any harm, and most of the time, 90% of the time, they believe that the animal is peaceful.
Like since my interview last night with Duke, I could show you. Like I've got like 20 messages from people like that aren't in the Bigfoot community. Like,
no,
are we there?
Still have her.
No, okay.
We lost you, Chris.
Oh, okay. Like, and like we're in the Bigfoot community, like we know who this person is, that researcher is, blah, blah, blah. Like, right. But there's like thousands of people. If you go to a convention, like a lot of people go there just because they have experienced things and like, they don't know, like they see like, oh my God, like when I first started this, I didn't know there was like a Bigfoot community Facebook and I didn't know all that. Like I was introduced by Barb, like, hey, there's like a Facebook Bigfoot community. And I didn't even know that. But
I wish I did know now. Sometimes.
No, but like I want to tell you, like I've gotten like at least 20 messages today saying like my name is so and so. I'm from like Ohio. I'm from like this area. I have them on my property. I don't know what to do. They come to my house, and I'm not saying you guys like that's all the Sasquatch are horrible, evil, like demonic Nephilims. I'm not saying that, but I know that there's some clans out there that I believe. This guy that I saw face to face, he did not look happy to see us at all. Like his face was like, don't get any closer. Like it was so, when you're face to face and you see their expression of just like, get out. Like it's so terrifying that I don't know. It's still in my head, and my daughter has like nightmares, like a lot. Like she's afraid they're going to come to our house and like kill us. Like and then she says to me, Mom, you lied. Like you said that monsters aren't real, but they are, and I said, no, well, I try to like her kid, age. And I said, look, like, I get it. Like, I know even he looks scary. They look scary, but
quoted aliens.
But Steve, let me ask you a question. Why not have the government tell the truth about him? Like, why? Why not?
Well, because I would be of the opinion that the government doesn't know they exist, any more than we do, for real.
Well, like if you have 50 phone calls a year and they're saying like these people are terrified, like, look, there's video. I got video of a Sasquatch. Like, here's the footprint. You know what she says to me? She says, well, we have a lot of homeless people out there. And I'm like, really? Because I've never seen a homeless person ever, not even a tent, nothing. I'm like 22 inches. A man that's homeless, walking barefoot in the woods, 22-inch like footprint. Come on. Like, let's be real,
How large would that
So-
animal have to be to leave a 22-inch footprint? That's pretty freaking significant. I mean,
It was
that
big.
is.
He was
Well,
big.
I'm just saying, he'd have to be what, 18 feet tall, something like that, to leave that size of a foot. I mean, he had to be pretty big.
I couldn't measure him because he was like 30 feet up on a tree. So I want to go out there and measure like where I saw his head. Like there's a certain knuckle on the branch where I saw his head, like on the picture. I want to measure just as like torso type thing. But like I am all about truth, and I want them to start like acknowledging that these are real. They're not like pretend, like we're not all crazy. There's like 50,000 people out there that have sightings that are misidentifying with like bears, and I don't know. I feel like, what about Steve? Like you guys, what about like the people that have disappeared and have been killed by them? Like what about them? Don't they deserve like justice? Don't they deserve like,
How do you know?
Like
Right.
I'll give you the same question you gave me. How do you know? You don't.
I don't.
We don't.
You don't
there
know
aren't
that anyone
any-
has been killed by a Bigfoot. You'll never know that anyone's been
We'll
killed
never
by
know.
a Bigfoot.
And if
But
Because you're not going to know. So how is that question even relevant? Based on that, you'll never know.
I'll never know. But I have to ask you something. What about those people that have had horrific encounters and this, they've been chased, and if he didn't have a gun, he shot at it, like the whole story thing. Like what about that?
And I would say I really wish a fucking wildlife photographer would get chased.
I know.
somebody who can use a camera.
Because
Yeah.
no one on this fucking planet can manage to get video of one that makes me convinced.
I
You
can
don't
tell
think-
you, I understand that you're in a, if it does happen, you're in a really bad situation, and I can understand that filming them is probably not your first priority, but eventually, I mean, we got trail cameras, we got all this stuff, and still, Tim Fasano, whether you like the guy or not, was a professional photographer. Look at the crap he puts out.
Yeah.
He should be the guy who gets the good photograph, but he can't. Why? Do you believe, not Claudia, that they're flesh and blood?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're a flesh and blood creature. We should be able to photograph them,
Right.
and we can't. There's got to be a reason for that.
Well,
If they're real.
we don't know very much. Like we don't know anything about them. All we know is they do wood knocks, swoops. The one thing that was interesting that I was always thinking.
No. Wait. How do we know that they do those things?
Well, this is like this. Well, I also think
there's no video.
right.
There's no video
right.
of a Sasquatch whooping, knocking on a tree, nothing. And this
But wait, I have to tell you something.
But wait, hold on. This is what bothers me about finding Bigfoot whenever I decide to sit down and watch that absolute piece of shit, is when they fucking bring up these little Bigfoot factoids before the fucking commercials. Like, how do we know? We don't. And until there's a friggin' scientific inquiry, and until someone actually publishes a paper saying, oh my God, there's a bipedal ape in the Pacific Northwest, maybe in a larger section of the fucking country, then what is it? It's all eyewitness testimony and bullshit, because eyewitness testimony, is bullshit.
Have you seen one before? Have you had a sighting?
Have I had a sighting? No. I've spent more of my life in the woods than most anyone, and I have never seen a Bigfoot. I've seen wolves. I've seen probably coy wolves.
Right.
I've seen moose. I've seen bear, but I have
You've seen
never
everything
seen
out there.
a Bigfoot.
But like,
I heard
if
one
you
once.
saw, but let me tell you something. In all fairness,
Fuck
like
off, Steve.
I used to think like you. I was never like into UFOs, ghosts. Like I was never a sci-fi girl at all. Like, but when you have an encounter and like when you're face to face with one, or you know that they're looking at you, there's like two around or whatever. Do you really think, honestly, that you're gonna take out your camera in front of it and start like filming it? Like really? Like I don't even know how my daughter did it. Like I'm like, you know why? Because I thought if I point something at this thing right now, it's gonna come at me. Like it was that intimidating. Like, do you really believe in your heart that if you saw one out in the woods, say you did see one, you're gonna take your camera out and like start filming it and following it?
I get that. I get that it would.
I don't know that I'd follow it, but I'd try to get a shot of it for damn sure.
You would point something at it?
For damn sure.
Well, I was too scared. I'm gonna be honest. eyewitness. Like I was like, hell no. Like I put my phone away. Actually, I threw it in my back pocket because I was like scared. You know.
Really believe it probably depends on the individual. Some people would be able to do it. Others, I'd probably be scared shitless. I don't know. I've had a possible encounter, but I can't prove anything about it. You know, like your first encounter that you were talking about. You don't know, and so that's as close as I've come. I didn't think to pull out my camera because why would I? You know, so I understand that part of it, but we do have other means of recording these things because, you know, trail cams. There's people out there who have hundreds of trail cams deployed. There's different Bigfoot groups around that do that.
Yeah.
And still nothing, you know, so.
And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, you guys. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm so passionate.
No, and we're not trying to be disrespectful.
No, we all have different points of view, okay? And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But here's, you know, my problem with all of this is the fact that there's no solid research. See, a while ago, I tried to have Derek Randalls on. Who, oh, by the way, Steve, I believe he just got Bigfooter of the Year.
Did he?
Yeah, wow. You know, for something that's just a fucking hobby, you got a big award for a hobby.
Let it go, Chris.
Fuck off, Richard. But anyway, I had asked him, you know, one of my biggest questions to him before I tried to get him on the show, tried being the operative word, was, you know, no one's doing any research. And he was like, well, we're doing research. And I'm like, where is it? Oh, well, you'll see. I have still not seen a lick of fucking research come out of the Olympic project. So I hope Wally's getting his fucking money's worth.
Trail cam pictures and stuff, but not a Bigfoot, right?
Yeah.
Claudia, I have a question for you. And this is probably the most important question in my mind is no state in the Union, and probably no country in the world, offers research into an animal that is not recognized by science. I mean, nobody's out there looking for the Loch Ness Monster.
Right.
You know, the government. And so it's not going to happen until science recognizes that is a real animal. So how does that play into your
I think what Steve is trying to say is, wouldn't your efforts be better pushed in the direction of trying to get valid research rather than trying to get a state to recognize something that they're... What is valid research?
No, where is it? Like, where is it? Because
it's fucking nowhere, Claudia. That's the problem.
Exactly my point. But like, I mean, if somebody has a video of me murdering someone, right, and they have my footprint, or I don't know, that's bad. I want to say, like, I have DNA. I have like the DNA that I need to show them, look, like this came in, like, I'm just going to do the basics. This came back unknown, right? So here's a footprint that's 22 inches. Here's a video. Here's my 2 kids that are honest, like they're kids, you know. I will take a lie detector test. I have, if they let me have 100 witnesses on there, I will have 100 witnesses on there. If I sit there and say, hey, look, like, I have all these witnesses. How many phone calls do you guys get, the Forest Service, of hey, like, I ran into a Sasquatch? You know how many people I talk to that I say, did you call the Forest Service? Yes. What did they say? I saw a bear. It's the same thing over and over and over again. People have to stop, like, turning their heads and saying, hey, like, you know what? Like, there's no such thing as a Bigfoot. No, like, there is. We want to offer people to come out. Judge, come out with us. Like Todd said, I'll take him out and I'll show him a Sasquatch. So let's, you know, I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. But anyway, but as far as I'm concerned, with having 2 kids and being out there, like, you guys, like, I'm a mom, like, I love my kids, and I'm not doing this for myself. I don't want to go to court. I don't want to fill out paperwork. I don't want to work like 7 days in a row. I want to be a mom, you know, but I look at the bigger picture, and even if they may laugh at me and say, oh, like, are you kidding? Like, there's no Sasquatch. You know what? I've had 2 encounters. I have 100 witnesses here that have had encounters. I'm sorry, I don't have a body. I'm sorry, I don't have a body. We can't get a body, you know? In my heart, I believe that they have a body. The government knows. I don't know why, like, they're hiding it from us. I don't know why. Is it biblical reasons? Is it logging industry, the money? What is it? I don't know. But at least when I die...
cares about biblical reasons, to be honest with you. Have you seen some of the people in our government?
Yeah.
Just gonna interrupt you guys for a moment there and say Dean Cooper is in the chat room, so he's no longer dead to us.
Oh,
All right.
Oh.
Happy
But, like,
birthday,
I mean-
Dean.
Happy birthday. I don't know. I see where you're going with this, but you know what? Like, I pray to God. I have a lot of faith in God, and don't laugh at me, you guys, but I do. I have a lot of faith in God, and I'm grateful for like nothing happening that day. And I feel like it's my duty as a human being, as like an American citizen, as a mother, to like pay it forward somehow, helping the public. And that's why I'm so compelled to do this, you know. And we'll see what happens. I'll come back on your show and go, yeah, this is what happened. Like, I'm gonna share everything that's happened. It's never been done before, so we don't know what's gonna happen. You know, I want to know what they're gonna say.
So you said you had DNA.
Yeah.
Where did the DNA come from, if we may ask, and who verified what it was?
I have hair here, and I did the double-sided tape with bacon grease, like on top of the tree. I've been out in those woods a lot, like going to that area, leaving recorders out. So Todd has his DNA. I have my DNA. I have like the video. I have the video. I have you're so funny. I have the video. I have the DNA. I have witnesses. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but I went on the trail and I left like a cheesy cardboard, like saying, hey, like if you've experienced anything unusual in this trail, like please call me. Like I'm not going to judge you. Just call me. I didn't write my name down so they can't Google my name, you know, and see, oh, she's a Bigfooter or whatever. I just left my cell phone just to see what would happen. It was like in like the woods, like thinking I'm not going to get a call. Well, 4 people called me. One of them had an encounter there. That's like 2 witnesses, same spot. I don't know this guy at all. He was walking with his brother at night and he saw an albino Sasquatch. He said he was terrified. And he was actually visiting here, and like the lady he was visiting lives on the like near the trail. So she saw that sign and she called him and said, oh my God, like I saw this sign. You need to call this lady. Maybe she saw what you saw. So I have him. I have an older couple that like they're retired. He's a police officer, like honest people. And you know, they said that they heard a huge growl, and I mean, they didn't have a sighting, but they've had experiences on that trail. They said it was owned by Indians. So I had a third person, a woman who called me who lives near the trail, and she said, well, like, I've never seen anything weird, but what are those screams at night? Like, have you heard the screams at night? So I explained everything to her. She has no idea about a Sasquatch. She doesn't know about them. The fourth person who called said, all I have to say is I'm not comfortable with sharing what happened to me here, but I promise you I walk on this trail 3 times a day to make sure people are safe. And I'm like, okay, please tell me what happened. He's like, no. I'm like, okay, I respect that. Can't force it, you know, but I have their phone numbers. Another thing too, that this is very interesting. When the Forest Service came, I asked her, I want to ask you some questions now. I said, has anybody ever reported a Sasquatch on that trail? Immediately she says, no. Really? Like, that's a quick, so you investigated this while you were on my way to my house. Like, you know this for sure. How do you know that? She's like quiet, just staring at me. How do you know that? So you researched this as you were coming. Your ETA was 5 minutes to my house and you're telling me no right away. Anyway, I went back and forth with her and I was respectful. Don't get me wrong. But I had a police officer. Somebody was trying to break into my house recently here. So I called like the police in the middle of the night, got my kids. I was protecting them. And when the police came here, he saw me panic. So he like stayed here with me for a little while. And then he started talking to me, sat in my living room. He saw the cast. I have a cast. And he started asking me questions. So I said, oh, like, yeah, I like Bigfoot. Like I saw one. He goes, where? I said, Old Toll Road. He goes, oh, I shouldn't have said that. But you don't know the city. But anyway, I told him like where I saw it. And he said, you know what's really weird? He goes, about like 3 years ago, I went there to an elderly lady. And she called 911. And she said she saw a young one like on her porch, like looking through the window. And she was freaked out. And he's like, it was on that road. And I said, wow, interesting. I go, would you mind testifying for me? Like, would you testify? He goes, yeah, I'll testify. So he gave me his business card. I have his business card. Now he went on like a 911 call on that like property on that trail. So, I mean, will that help me in court? Maybe, maybe not. But
I think you're fighting an uphill battle with, you know, because it's not a recognized species and there's no precedent. I mean, maybe you'll set a precedent. I think you're not. I mean, I really don't think you will, because it's an unknown species. Science hasn't recognized it, and until they do,
right,
you're not going to get a state to recognize it.
There's no basis for the state to to do that, right? Because there is no scientific recognition of it. But I want to get back to your DNA. You said you yourself collected hair.
I what?
Have you had that? You yourself collected hair. Have you had it tested?
Not yet. I
Okay,
have
so
like
that would kind of
DNA
be
evidence.
important
Like
to
I
do
have
before.
like Todd's DNA, but like mine, no, I haven't. It's like $5,000. So I'm trying to get
Todd's
funds.
We don't
DNA?
want to know about it.
Is that some?
Yeah, we don't want to know about
Is that
it.
some
No.
fake hair and some? Is there? Is
Okay.
Did it
Fake
come
hair.
from a puppet?
No, I mean, what was that?
Todd's DNA came back as from Kermit the Frog, though, so that's
Yeah.
not really helpful.
Right.
No, but I
Okay,
have to
so-
get that done soon. But I mean, it could be deer. I mean, it could be like whatever, but I don't know. I feel that they're there around that area and I feel that it's them. But I mean, I could feel a whole bunch of things, but in court, they'll laugh at me if it's like deer. You know, I get
Right.
it. But
Right.
I mean, fund wise, I'm a single mom and I don't want any money from anybody. I'm doing this on my own. In fact, like my
Well-
attorney who's helping me, she's going to help me with the summons next week. In lieu of payment, what I do is I clean her house. Like I'll clean as many toilets as I have to clean just to like, because I really want this, you know, and she's the only one that
I
wants to
clean
help me with
toilets
it.
for Bigfoot. It's a, it's a big
I did. There you go. There's your title. But I mean, that's how
in
dedicated I am. You know, I'm grateful for her help. So I'm not going to just sit there and say like, hey, can you work for free? Like, here's my paperwork. I'm like, hey, while you do my paperwork, I'll clean your house. How about that? You know, that's how it kind of turned out. But I am grateful for people that are helping.
I'm assuming that your attorney did not write this mandate.
Oh, no, she did. Yeah, she
She
helped.
did?
Oh, yeah. Why, did you not like it?
Well, there was some things that I took issue, just little tiny things that my mind picked out that probably didn't mean anything anyway. So, like you mentioned Bigfoot, but then you say Sasquatch in the next sentence, but didn't explain that it was the same, that kind of thing. But nothing.
Oh, really?
major.
I didn't even thank you for letting me know that. I didn't even.
Well, it was on the first page. Look at it. It says commonly known as Bigfoot, and then later you just say Sasquatch without saying.
Yeah.
You didn't say Sasquatch before that. But anyway, in your paperwork, you mentioned that you've had, I believe, let me get back to that page real quick. Obviously, you say you suffered ridicule and things like that, which I think anybody who's been in the Bigfoot community, UFO community, anything,
Yeah.
has suffered some sort of ridicule. I mean, it's normal.
It is, yeah.
I believe
But
in it,
you-
and I suffer ridicule.
We ridicule. You're suffering our ridicule. You know?
No,
And we're in the community. so.
I appreciate you guys.
But you talk about monetary things in here, livelihood, loss to your livelihood, and things like that. Could you explain that a little bit more? Something about
Okay,
not being able to
let me
get
explain
licensing
this.
to go out and things like that.
If Sasquatch was like say known as like a real species, like a bear or whatever, so I can have expeditions and I can have people like say, hey, like I'll come to your expedition, no problem. Like, but when you say Bigfoot here in Los Angeles, I'm in Los Angeles, so like all there is like buildings and like a lot of smog and like malls, you know. And it's like when you talk about Bigfoot here, like in Oregon and in Washington, like if you say Sasquatch, it's not such a taboo like subject, at least in my opinion. So since they're denying like the species, how am I going to make a career out of this if I want to make a career? Like
Do you
I
wanna
want a
make
career out of it. Teach people about like the Sasquatch, like the whole, you know, like woodmark, you know, the woodmarks, the whoops, so.
Aren't you
So-
afraid that people will look at you, read these papers like I have, and think all she wants out of this is to make money off of it?
Me?
Because
No, I don't
it
want any
can-
money. In fact,
Well, you
I'm going to
just
say
said-
this publicly, and I'll say it 5 times in a row. Any money that gets donated, I don't want it. Like for myself, for my daughters, I want it for public education and for the species
I know, but
protection.
you just said that you would like to make a career out of it.
Of course. Yeah.
That's money.
I
mean, that's money.
Right now
You
it's a
still
hobby,
have to
you know, I have
down.
to make it a hobby, but like if I did really want to do like full-time career on this, like who's going to like go laugh? Like you want to do a Bigfoot expedition? Like really? Like
Yeah, but
people
in the
laugh.
state
like,
of California, I've talked to people in the state of California since last week, and to get a little bit more information about what you can do. If you want to do an expedition on, let's say, state land, all you have to do is get a permit. You don't have, I mean, there's no licensing to go out on a Bigfoot expedition. It happens all the time in California.
Bigfoot expeditions in California?
Sure. Yeah, didn't
Well,
they have?
BFRO
Chris
makes
is-
a good living off of it.
Well,
Yeah, and Chris has been on a Bigfoot expedition in California.
okay, but
Haven't
like, how many people did he have on his expedition? I'm talking about like thousands of people like doing something like with their career on Sasquatch. I'm not talking about having like 8 people come to do a camp out and here's like $100. You know what I mean? For my food. I mean, like, if I want to like make this something into my own career, it's my personal choice. It's my right to say, you know what? Like, because you guys are denying that this is not real. Like, all of us, like, I'm not even talking for California, but all of us, 90% of the people say they're not real. Like, why would I want to pay an expedition? Why would I pay money for something that's not real? Like, why would I do that? Like, they've never seen one, you know?
But what's stopping the people who do believe it's real from paying you money to do this? There's no law against it. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
well, personal encounters. I mean, if you talk to most people that go on expeditions, they're like either had experiences with it. I mean, some people are into like the whole Sasquatch thing because they just like saw the Patty footage. But if you talk to the majority of people, they've all had experiences. Like, yeah, this happened to me when I was like 7 years old. This happened to me when I was like camping the other day. Like, you know, that's my opinion, my experience with people. So
Right. But
people really don't care about Sasquatch here. Like, they don't give a shit, like, if there's a Sasquatch or not. Like, my mom, like, and my family were saying, like, so what if there's an ape in the woods? Who cares? Like, so what? Like, so.
I guess what I'm
Here.
trying to get at is your paper, your petition says that you aren't able to make a career out of it, right?
No,
But
I'm not.
You could, because there is no law against it. There's no licensing for it. You should be able to do it without.
But how am I
course,
going to make
saying that you can't.
license for what? To say Sasquatch? I'm going to be
Well,
a
you
Sasquatch.
say something about
like,
you say something about going out, you know, like on not nature hikes. I can't.
I
Find
want to say. I want to say, like, come out with me to find a Sasquatch. They're going to say there's no Sasquatch that exists.
Guided adventure tourism, but that's not a state issue. That's people issue, right?
I don't agree. Sorry.
Claudia, there are
I mean,
tons
get what you're
of people.
saying.
There are tons of people who put on paid Bigfoot outings, which we disagree with. By the way, we think they're
I don't
bullshit.
like paid. Yeah, I don't like paid bait. Yeah,
But there are people who do it everywhere, all over California, Washington, Oregon, Texas.
Oh, I've been on them. Like, believe me, I've been to
They're
conferences.
all over the place.
I've been to
So
them.
to say that that's not that's something that you can't do.
But I don't feel that people like. Do you think that I can make a career out of this, like doing this on a full-time basis, Monday through Friday?
Matt
Really?
Moneymaker
If you wanted to, yeah, Matt Moneymaker has.
Hey, like one person. Okay, I give you that. But like, honestly, like,
Cliff
to go to
Erickman
work,
has.
like, Monday through Friday, like, let's go to work Monday through Friday and do like Bigfoot stuff, and I get paid for it. It's not
Tom
realistic.
Biscardi
Like,
has.
Try to find anyone who
Friday,
can
guys,
make,
fun.
who can make a career out of it.
I
Todd
disagree.
Stanning
This doesn't happen. Why do you think Jeff Meldrum still has a fucking job at the university?
And I
He's
don't
one of the
think
most well-known people in Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But
Well,
there are a
I
lot
want
of
to
people who
clarify
have
something.
that
If you
career.
think this is for me, you know how much this is gonna. It's gonna cost me a lot of money, and you know what happens to me if I don't win this, right? You know the consequences I'm gonna pay. I'm gonna pay a
they're
lot
gonna
of
be
money.
huge.
I'm gonna be in big trouble.
You're gonna.
And
Well, you're gonna
I
pay a
know,
lot of
I know,
money.
I know my consequences. But you know what? I'm looking at the big picture, and like, please know my heart. Like, I'm doing this to help people, and I'm not gonna stop. I mean, you guys
I
can
have
say
no
you guys
doubt.
have good points. Like, don't get me wrong, I respect it, but I'm gonna do the best I can. I believe something good's gonna come out of this. It's already like starting. Like, people are already saying thank you so much. Like, I don't know what to do. We have these Sasquatch like around our property. What do we do? Like 20. Like, I'll send you the messages. Like, you know, a lot of people have stories, and like,
My response would be get a
I-
camera.
what was that?
My response
Get a
would be get a camera.
Yeah, and lights. True. True.
Because until
But,
I
I
mean,
mean-
I'm sorry, until somebody comes out with friggin' solid proof,
No, I understand.
no, it's not going to go
But it's never
anywhere.
gonna happen. I doubt it's ever gonna happen. Like, really, like.
Then
I mean, we're
that's
like
never
the year
gonna happen.
2000.
Okay, let's say that you win this case, and the state of California recognizes Bigfoot as a species. Then, what do you expect after that? I mean, do you believe that science is going to all of a sudden say, "Oh, California says it's real, so we're going to go look into this"? I mean, is that what you're after here?
Yeah, I want like them to say, okay, like, we're gonna start telling the Forest Service if somebody has a sighting, this is what they need to do. You need to go investigate it. You need to make sure like that there's like kids If there's kids like walking to school, like let's say your kid goes to school, he walks through the woods every day. Maybe he should be escorted with people, the more the better. I mean, I don't have all the answers, you guys. Like, I'm not the brightest girl in the world. Obviously, you know that about me. But, like, there has to be, like, something good has to come out of this. People have to be protected. They have to be listened to. You know what? That's the biggest thing. It's like people, like, feel ashamed to talk about their encounters. And I think that people, the most thing they need is, like, to be listened to. There's a man who called me. He said, I had a sighting, and it traumatized me so bad, I didn't tell a soul. But I started doing drugs and drinking, like really bad, to a point where he went to a rehab. Not because he was depressed about his like marriage or his kids or his life. He couldn't handle what he saw. And I'm sure, you guys, I don't know if you've had anybody else have had encounters, but like it is traumatic. When you see one, you're like, what? Like, this isn't, wait, you're not real. Like, what's happening here? It is traumatizing. It is. So whoever sees a Sasquatch and says like,
into Sylvanic.
What?
160 came out. Bigfoot got the rest.
Do you?
Never seen a Muppet size.
What,
The
Steve?
people you work, you're in nursing, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Or you work at a hospital or something of that nature?
I used to in a hospital. Now it's home health care. So
Okay.
I work with cancer patients.
Well, that's commendable. Very commendable. Do the people that you work with know that you're doing this?
Oh, totally. They totally like, and they're like, some are doctors, and they're like, "That's so cool that you're doing that. That is so like," and I'm like, be honest. Like, I need like hard truth. Like, I'm not, I have tough skin. I could be a bitch, but like, I need hard questions. Like, you guys, I appreciate this because I'm learning. Like, I'm gonna like write the stuff down that you're telling me, and I'm gonna talk to an attorney and say,
court's gonna be
what?
easy after you talk to us.
You guys aren't that bad. But truly,
No.
like, I know you guys like seem like all hard and stuff on your show and stuff, but I know like deep inside, like you guys have families that you love.
Stop
kids,
it!
I'm gonna
Don't
share
tell
your secret.
anybody.
I have a heart of stone.
You know what? Like,
Well, Chris really does have a heart of stone.
I love Chris.
Chris destroys everything he fucking touches.
No, he doesn't.
I refer you to episode 1 of the reboot of the
You know
show.
what's funny? I have something to share with you
where
guys.
I talk about my last relationship.
Oh God, no! Please, or any
Is
of your
that-
relationships.
Is that Christopher talking?
Yes.
It was. Yeah.
I'll talk to you after the show. I went with Adam Davies to Soho. It was pretty fun.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
God, no! Don't bring up that name. No.
Yeah, bitch lips. How is he?
Stop it. Stop. Behave. Okay,
Another
so
thing.
listen,
I tell you, ask him how something tastes, but
Jenna,
No.
you're being naughty over
Chris,
here.
stop! I'm gonna get another message from Davies. No, I don't want that.
you? I'm sorry.
Don't talk bad about people. It's not nice. Don't say bad words.
Oh God. Oh geez, that's our whole show. What are we gonna do?
Well, we're done.
Oh, boys. Okay, so am I hearing that you guys are going to support me and come to court with me on March 19th? Stand by me?
Us?
No.
Yeah. Okay. No, I live in
I'll pick
in
you up at the
Ohio.
airport. I'll cook for you.
Are you also paying my air flight? Because I live in Ohio.
If I clean
I
extra
guess
houses,
I-
maybe
I used to live in California.
Where did you live at?
Briefly.
With Adam Davies, Davis's wife, or current wife.
There's some history.
In
Chris.
Sacramento.
Christopher. Oh my gosh. Sacramento. Okay. That's kind of far from me. But anyway, I have to go because I have kids and she's waiting for me to put her to bed. But I want to say something like, truly, boys, like, I know that this is going to be a hard fight, but I'm not going to give up. And I'm going to help as many people as I can. You can laugh at me. That's fine.
Probably.
I have tough skin.
Listen, Claudia, I 100% totally believe that you believe what you're doing is the right thing.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't think there's any debate about that. Now, we may disagree with it, but if that's what you feel you got to do, good luck to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I've had a couple strokes and the last one was pretty scary. And I want to die on this. Like, when I die, I want somebody to say to me, like, what did she do? Like, for people, what did she do? Like, I want to be remembered as someone who really loved people and wanted to help the public, people she doesn't even know. And I want people to remember me like that, and it's like, I want to get as much as I can done now, and I've been sick, and and I don't know where the future's going to take me, but I'm going to do everything I can to be positive and keep going. So
Well,
I don't mean
thank
to
you
sound like
for-
a Hallmark card, you guys. Like you're all,
Thank-
gosh, get off my show. But
Thank you for pulling up your big girl pants and coming on the show and dealing with us. Dealing with us
thank you. It's an
assholes.
honor.
And on that note, Steve, do you remember when we had that fucking Mick West on?
Who? Oh, Mick
Mick
West.
West.
Yes.
Buddy, Mick.
Oh, that I like Mick.
Yeah, the guy that will probably never do the show again.
Yeah, no, he won't.
This has been
Claudia
episode. Yeah, she probably would. This has been episode 10 of the Fortean Slip, the Bigfoot versus the state of California episode. If you like this shit, hit the little thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the little thumbs down button. Leave a comment. Subscribe. Check us out on iTunes and Libsyn. By the way, you people in California and Australia, you get some work to do. UK is kicking your ass in downloads. Check out Matt Knapp. I don't know what he's doing now. I think he's in transition, but he can be found at youtube.com/bigfootcrossroads. Check out Richard's comic strip, Bigfootin' with Keith and Colin, on Facebook, and check out Steve's Fake News.
Oh, come
every
on.
week, right here on this show. Steve's Fake News, brought to you by Spam.
Claudia, do you have a website that people can go to and check out what you're doing?
Actually, I'm putting it together right now because I want to say something really quick. I'm starting like a group. I'm working with a PhD who's a child psychologist who's helping me put a website together to help parents of kids who've had encounters and are kind of traumatized by it, like how to help them. So I don't have it yet, but I will give it to you as soon as it's up. So
Okay.
All right.
thank you,
and
guys.
we
I
will
want to
be
say thank you.
back
Like
next.
truly, I love the three of you a bunch. So thank you for being good to me, and thank you for the hard questions. I needed. So
We love us too.
Yeah.
We are.
And we'll
All
be
right.
back next
I'm
week.
gonna say goodbye. I love you.